Good evening or good afternoon. It's just gone 12:30 Eastern Time and it's 5:30 PM here in the UK, and I'm just going to summarise my trades for today. I'm pretty much done, finished green for the day, not a bad day. 11 accounts and each account's green on my Apex Trader. Looking on my screen is the 1 hour MES or the esfutures, the S&P, and we had a couple of levels here today. So one level I changed was this level here at 45.39, and I changed that purely because yesterday, in the last couple of days, we tried to get through this area and we failed, and we rejected it a couple of times. We couldn't quite get to it yesterday, and today we broke through. So what I really wanted to do is wait for the retest of that area. So as it pulled back down, I wanted to get the retest, and that's kind of what I was focused on really. Other areas were this congested volume area we talked about in the video, where we've got higher concentrated volume, which is natural resistance as well. And you can see that played out quite well, because if you look, we came down to that area on the hourly, and it's right on this higher end volume as well. So this works really well. And also using Bookmap, which I'm going to bring over as well, worked really well as well. So this is today's trading, and I basically change that to red. So 2:30 open. So this is the opening candle here, and it broke out, and I was waiting for the break and retest, and I did get the retest around here, I think it was long, and there wasn't much volume, wasn't much on Bookmap, and I should have let it settle down really, but it was a break and retest, and I was green for a bit, and then it came down, and then I added just there, waiting for the retest, came down again, and then I added again here at 3 PM, and then I did take a little tiny bit of profit there, but not much, one contract, and it came back down and I stopped myself out, and that's only because it broke down below that area I was watching, and so my stop was just below this big red area where the sellers were, and I saw the big red bubble as well, which means there's high selling. I thought it was going to go down further, and I'll show you that on the chart. Go into the 5 minute. I was mainly playing the 5 minute as well. I had the 2 minute as well open. So opening bell is here. In fact, I will go into the 2 minute because my entries are based on the 2 minute. So this is the opening bell here at 9:30. Pulled up, and I wanted to get the retest, which I don't have my levels here. I'm not sure why I don't see the level, but it was basically where this red line point of control is. In fact, the level is there, it's just underneath this point of control. Look at that, absolutely spot on, that level, and that's where the volume was today as well. So you can't see the level because that red line's over the top of it. So I got in on, no, it was just after the market opened. So 9:30, sort of push up, then it came all the way back down, and it got down to this 50 moving average, and I got in there, and I thought we were going to break out, and it came back down again, so I added one more down here, and I held for a bit. My target was going to be the pre-market high around this area. Let's go back to yellow. This is my target area here. Yellow, that's better, I prefer yellow. So that was my target, and as you see, it didn't quite get to the target, came back down. I held a bit longer. I think I added on the VWAP as well, and so my average price was around about 38, I think it was, so just below, it was just about here, my average price. And then I was holding, still holding. I thought this double bottom was going to push up, and that would have been that's the trade I was waiting for, and it came through. And as it broke through the VWAP, I didn't like the price actually. In fact, I got out. I held it a couple of times for the VWAP, but I got out here, and I didn't get out of all my contracts. I think I had 6 contracts at this point, and so I got out of 4 of them. I kept 2, and I was going to use this as an out. So I used areas of significance for my stops. So that's why I got down to 2, because I didn't want to hold all 6 contracts down to here. So I had 2 contracts left, and I was willing to add in this area. And then I was watching on Bookmap as well, which I'm going to go back to that now. And what made a difference and why I added, so adding back into my order, is around, so we're coming down, what's that, 4:30, and let's have a look, see what time it was. So it was, yeah, 10:30, so we're being 3:30 my time. So here, so this is exactly it. So here we could see, so I saw those orders there, and that's why I was willing to hold there and add down there, because I saw the red. So the red was the orders I was watching for, this red area here. And again here, that's why I added. And my idea was I was always going to get out if we broke below the red, and that means that we've exhausted the buyers and it wanted to push down. And then that's exactly what happened here, and that's why I got out of all but 2 of my contracts. But then my stop loss was moved to about there, I think it was, I think it was just around about that pivot. And then I started seeing some recovery, and it couldn't push its way back down, and I zoomed in a lot more on Bookmap so you can see a bit more detail. There's some bigger green buyers coming in, and so it looked like it's holding that area. So I added my 4 contracts back again, and I added on the pullback, and I added one more just there as well, because that's a confirmation. And then we sort of break the VWAP, and what I used as my outs was, can I zoom in the areas I want to? No, not really. So I was using these red areas as my out, so this area, and what I wanted to do, this area as well. And so I was placing I had my original stop order, my original take profit order was about here. It was 55 or 45, 55. Maybe, no, it was a bit lower than that. It was around about there actually. It was below 45.50, and so I saw the first big red area. In fact, I started off here. My first out was there, because I remember exactly there. I got out there because I placed it just before these sellers, and then I saw this big green bubble, which means there's more follow through. So there's more buyers than there were sellers at that area, and it pushed up to the next area. My next out was there, and then my next out was about here, I believe. It's hard to tell because I haven't got the candlesticks on. So, and again, it was below this big selling area. So I was out. I think I got out around about at that point at 4 o'clock, which would have been 11 o'clock. Yeah, I was out by 11 o'clock. That's what it was, Eastern time. So let's just confirm on here, 11 o'clock. So if I can have both open at the same time, it doesn't matter. So this is where we saw the big red area, and on Bookmap, and that was like offering protection. And we also had the double bottom there, and then we saw red area. I think the red areas were here. There was another red area there, and then there was another red area here. In fact, there was a big red area there. And so I was buying here, especially on that double bottom as well. That's where I got in. I saw this double bottom tail as well, and increased volume as well in the double tails, which shows that there's more strength in the buyers when you see the tails. And so I think I added there as well. So I was in 6 contracts by the end. So 2 I'd left over, and my average price was around about here. I think it was around about there by the time I added in. Might have been a little bit higher. And so my first out was there, just below that heavy area. Next out was there, just below that heavy area. And my original out was actually set to here anyway, and that's basically it was actually that point there, because it was those 2 candles, the tops of the bodies of those 2 candles. But I moved it down because I wanted it to be below the red selling area. And if you see where all these areas are, it pulled down a bit, here it pulled down a bit, so, and up here, so it got in, it tried crunching its way through that area, it pulled down a bit, then it finally pushed through, and look what happened. We had this double top and tail, so this candle here, and that was on high volume, or higher than average volume, should I say. And this top and tail here was higher than average volume as well, and that showed that there was weakness, especially 2 in a row as well. The first candle you don't know, because the first candle, the first top and tail candle could just be a test, and it could have carried on going all the way up. But the second top and tail candle on higher than average volume as well shows that there's more sellers and buyers, and that there's weakness with the buyers, and that's a good indication that it's changing trend before, you know, this is a good indication of changing trend before anyone else is aware of it, which is why it's good to play volume. Combination of that and with Bookmap as well, showing you areas of heavy limit orders. So these are all limit orders here, of sellers waiting to sell, and these are all limit orders for buyers waiting to buy. And the red bubbles you can see on here, the big red bubbles, are aggressive sell orders, and the green bubbles are aggressive sell and buy orders. And you can tell when you've got aggressive buy orders, it's going through an area of heavy red. Let's change. So going through this area of heavy red, and you've got green orders coming through, then you know it's going to break through that area. And so that's what I'm watching for. It's basically level 2, but visualized. And it's not basically, it is level 2, visualized version of level 2, and makes it a bit easier to plan your day as well, because you can see, like when I started the day, actually I made this comment earlier, when I started the day I saw at the open at 2:30 there was lots of stacked orders. There's stacked orders, I lost my pen, so I saw stacked orders, can't remember exactly where they were, but they were stacked, and before we'd even opened, and that kind of gave me a general idea that we may be pushing up in that direction as well. Another tool to add to your, another bullet to add to your gun as well. If you've got multiple big sellers already placing their orders before the market, then you know they think it's going to get up there for sale, so possibly that may show the direction we're going as well. In fact, if I turn the intensity down, 2:30 was about here, and these are the areas, you kind of see it really. So you've got, there's this area here stacked up, there's this area here, you see the faint lines. Well, they're faint now, but at the time they were like yellow and red. You've got the faint area here, that faint area there, that faint area there. So potentially, you know, you've had sellers placing their orders at these areas, and you can see, if you look, you've got 162, I think that's 16,000 contracts waiting to be sold there. I think it's 16,000, it could be 1,600, but I'll double check. I'm not sure. I need to know what these numbers actually mean, what volume is. Usually on my other platform, it's in the 2 zeros at the end are missing, just to make it more readable. But it might be just 1 0 on this platform. So, and then you can see, and what I'm also watching is for these levels, like we see here, looking for a big order, and you know there's big orders, like these are all in the 200s to 300s, so the 3,000s to 2,000s, and then suddenly you get one at 8,000, and then you see it pivot, you see this come out further as well, and I'm watching it decrement. If it's decrementing quite quickly, you know that there's buyers there looking to take it out, and then you can see a reversal. But if it's holding that level, if that value is holding 800, maybe it drops to 700, back up to 800, and then it's probably going to come back through and push away through it. So that's a way to know what's going on. And again, it's level 2, and you're trying to work out which way, because you don't know whether these are going to be buyers or sellers, these orders, so you have to watch the orders and what they're doing as well. That's just a very quick explanation of how I use Bookmap. And I used to use level 2 on my platform, but Bookmap's much easier to read and visualize. And so that's it really for my day. My trading's done and dusted. I was an hour and a half, and so basically I averaged in around this area here, minus the 39 this bit here, plus a little bit of a stop in this area, and I was out up here. And if we just go on forward a few, where are we now? And yeah, so we're just going sideways now. Are we at, have we found a top? Let's have a look. So just have both screens open at the same time. So we can see there's this 45-60 area. So we've got a few sellers up here, and then between 57, let's do it in red. So we've got a few sellers at 60, and look at that, happens to be a level I put in as well. So these are levels which I'm watching, and you can guarantee lots of other people are watching, hence why we're seeing this big area of potential rejection area. We've got 45 to 47 as well. 45 to 46, sorry, 55 to 57. So this area as well has got lots of, and look underneath, lots of sellers, and potentially underneath we've got 49 to 51. So 49 to 51. So this is where we're sitting right now, and in fact if you look, you can see we come into this area here, push up, come into this area here, push down, into this area here, push up, into this area here, push down, and we're just waiting for these orders. Either we're going to have more buyers, more sellers, but look, you can tell the volume is decrementing. You know, the bubble's not as big. So if we have a look on the actual volume on the chart, there you go, and that exactly matches what we've just seen as well. So volume is decrementing as well. So we're just eating time off the clock. Potentially this is a flag pattern we're setting up. Let's draw it in. It's a flag pattern and could go any direction. You don't know, you need to be patient, but we are getting close to the, we call it the apex of the flag pattern. So potentially we could see it push out that way or push out that way. So they're the two areas we could be watching. So that's the two plays which will come out of this. And look at that, volume's almost non-existent there. So something's going to happen. It's like a spring. It's being loaded. It's being coiled back, and something's going to explode shortly. So if I were to even looking at level 2, you can't even guess which way it's going to go. There is slightly more sellers. Oh no, it's about the same. You know, there's slightly more buyers actually if you look at this peak, but there's more sellers in this area, so potentially we might see it. So that's the selling area there, and we've got less buyers here, but a few buyers down at 45.50. So potentially we may see it reject, but if you just watch the pattern, I may just see what happens. See what happens. If we see a breakout here, let's draw the lines back in again. So I don't like these videos going on too long. What's it, 18 minutes? Here we go, looking for the breakout now. So if you wanted to be aggressive, you could have taken the breakout of that area, gone long as it broke that candle with your stop there or there. Or if you wanted to be more conservative, you can do the break, come back down to retest and for long. But remember, you are going into higher sellers. There's quite a few sellers in that area as well. So for me, I wouldn't take that trade because it's too high up. But it could just drift on up all day. So there you go, that's the breakout we were watching for, and that's not bad. That was as I was doing the video as well, analysed it. So in fact, interesting now, you can see now the buyers have taken out the sell orders all in this area here. So we've got quite a lot of sellers just immediately above, and buyers are just coming in. Is it going to make a new high? Okay, new high. See that big green circle here, that big green blob? So it's following through, so there's more buyers and sellers here, and that's how you can work out, that's how you can know whether there's we're going to push up through these areas or not. And again, by watching these numbers here, I'll leave this up for a bit so we can watch it, and then maybe you can play this back in slow motion later. But if you watch these numbers, 228, 230, and as we're selling, they will be decrementing. 233 down to 229. So I'm not doing much at the moment. And then you'll see that start going down. And you can see where and if you look at the 57, there's a spread, there's a one tick spread basically. So both of these two are the two which you see are in play. 182, 240, 320. So it's holding at the moment. Still holding. So watching the 75. And then the 2550, 88. This one I'm just keeping an eye on as well. So it's coming down now. 80. So 80 is still holding, and you can see it's still holding by looking at the chart now. So it's still not holding. Okay, 70, 69, back up again. So was it lunchtime in Wall Street, so it's probably not going to happen too much. Here we go, it's coming down. 77, 67. The moment we start looking at these numbers, there's a moment everything just slows right down. So this so that's so it's coming up now, 91, 99. So it's still holding. That level's still holding. So it continues to hold this area, then we're going to see it will just push up. To my outfit for a second. Where are we looking? Is it that one or that one? 50. That's still at the same level. Still holding the same area. And you can see there's big green, that means there's aggressive buyers there, which we can see that because if you look, it's holding that area and it's about to break through. It's trying to, let me not back down. So while it's slow like this, it's quite good to watch. Because when it's really fast, it's really hard to keep up with. And what we see if we're going to push up, we see this one getting higher, so 79, This one will get lower as more buyers are buying it, and it will move up to the next rung on the ladder. Push through, not quite, so it's still holding. Exciting, isn't it? Still holding those levels. Still watching these levels here. You see we're still in that same area. I'm just going to keep this video running until we see something move. Still holding. 71, 200 still. So it's starting to drop now. So still watching that area. Here we go. So it's dropping. So 130. Did I miss something? Yeah, so we've took my eyes off it for 2 seconds. You can't take your eyes off. So it's still there, 245, 140. So you see this is the spread here, the 25 cents. Zoom in and be a bit better to see. There we go. It's better. So you can see what's really going on. So now we're watching that number there and that number there. See that drop, the seller's drop? So this is increasing, more sellers than buyers, and we see it move down, more buyers than sellers, see it move up. But this is, here we go, something's about it. So see it dropping again, this value. 57, so we're now, that's drop, you saw that drop, there we go, now it's moved down, oh no, it's still there, drop. So that's what we're watching for, we're watching it drop. Finally it dropped again, so watch this come back down again, there you go, dropped, 85, 60 dropped. So we can see the sellers are now in control. Well, in control of this little tiny bar here. I'm not saying they're in control of the trend. So 75. So back up to 00 now. So you see it pushing up. So now we start seeing this number. You see the sellers starting to drop. So the sellers dropped now, and the buyers are in control. Again, you don't even need to look at the chart. You can see what's going on just by watching this. So the sellers are in control. Oh, that gives you a general idea anyway. So it's not a very good time to watch this, but let's just zoom out and see where we are. So you see we've dropped down a bit, and that's a way to watch level 2, and you can see it on your own level 2 on your platform as well. You don't need to use Bookmap, but Bookmap makes it very visual as well. Just finish off on. I want to see the buyers take control, and then I'll stop the video. So in theory, if we have a break and retest this area here, you should see something move up, and we can watch it on the level 2 if that happens. So, buyers in control. So see the selling's dropping, or the seller numbers are dropping, and the buyers are holding. So the sellers are back in control. And then when we get some big movement, you'll see this just moves really quick. That's why it's hard to keep up. Right, I'm going to end it here because this is not very exciting. It is to me, and here we go. You see that sellers were dropping and the buyers were stepping up. So where we were just sitting there, and we just dropped down. You can see 50, 25, just drop. See it dropped. Now this. If you've got enough time in your hands, I recommend just brushing up on level 2 and how to read the tape, because it's very interesting and it can show you. The Bookmap makes it really easy to see where the buyers are, but you don't even need the visual side. If we get rid of, hang on, can I get rid of a section of the screen? If you ignore all of this, I don't think I can fill it, but that's fine. If you ignore all of that and just concentrate only on this level 2, you can see what's going on. You don't even need a chart to trade from it. So you know you've got higher levels of sellers there, high level of buyers here, and again you can verify that on the chart. The chart just only makes it easy to see. And so you've got buyers, you've got some sellers up here, a few sellers sitting there, and these are your levels. And that's it really. So that pretty much sums up Bookmap, my day watching Bookmap. So that's why I quite like Bookmaps. It does show you areas where other people may not be watching. You know the smart money's definitely there, and you can tell it's smart money as well because of the number of orders sitting there. But what you're really looking for is a big area, say 1,000, that'd be 10,000 orders sitting on there with a big spike. and that's when you need to pay attention to what's going on, because that is the smart money or the insiders getting ready to make their move. And you can use this for accumulation and distribution as well. Okay, well that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button, and then I've got a button for this, and don't forget to subscribe. Hopefully something's popped up now. Where is it? Over there somewhere. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow. I've got I do a live pre-market, and in the live pre-market from 2 PM Eastern time, I go through all the levels, and pretty much all the levels I've picked up this week of all full work. So if I go back to the 60-minute on here, and these levels are all done in the pre-market. In fact, I do these levels hours and hours before the pre-market, probably from about 3 AM Eastern time, which is like 9 AM here in England. And look at that level's pretty much in play, or will be soon. This level was in play today, and I based my long off of that. And this point of control level, which we talk about in the video, which is the high of there, that was definitely in play today. We didn't quite get down to here, but yesterday we pulled back to that area, and you can use this as a confirmation. That area yesterday was definitely in play. Look at that, pivot came right down. That area is in play, that area is in play. We haven't got a level set up for this, but I've got an alarm set for this area here. And if you look at the levels up here, we came into that area there and it bounced or rejected, and with the daily levels being in play, that's in play today as well. And the levels are all in play every day. There's always, I think, pretty much out of the 4 levels I pick, I normally get 2 higher probability, lower risk plays, and I get 2 higher risk plays, which are basically off the open, and at least one of them will work, and usually all of them. In fact, I'm pretty sure almost every day there's at least 1 or 2 of the levels I talk about in the pre-market video come into play. And it's nothing magic, because I'm only looking at levels, areas where other people and other traders will be looking at, so it's not really anything special, or magic. These levels are just areas of supply and demand and support and resistance, and I'm just putting them in the plan before the market opens. So I've got a plan, and I'm not trading the market, making things up as I go along, because there's nothing worse than you watching the market having FOMO, and you're watching everyone else doing really well, like the break and retest of areas. It's pulling up, it comes back down to an area, comes up, pulls back down, and then you miss that run up. But if you've got a plan in place before the market opens, so my plan today was to go long, and that was based on continuation of this trend. I mentioned it a few times in the market. I want to play the continuation of this trend, and look, it's definitely continued today. And this is an area I could have got in, but I was watching this area here. So again, it's easy to see on the 5-minute, but all the levels are based on the hourly, and then the 5-minute I fine tune it a bit, and I use the 5-minute and the 2-minute to get in. If you want me to give you a tutorial on how I find the levels and how I mark them up, just leave a comment in the video as well below, and I'll do a separate tutorial. But these levels were all pre-market levels from 8 o'clock today, and you can see it came into that area today, pulled off, came in, got close to that area. If you're I normally play starter position, so I normally try and get in a little bit earlier, and then at the level, and then a bit above it. So for example here, this is exactly the reason why I would have, if I was going short, which I wasn't, because I was long from here, and I was getting ready, I was getting out of my trade here actually, and I was done for the day. I didn't want to continue trading, but my short would have been probably coming into the level, which is a high, and then at the level and one above it, and these would all be starter positions, and obviously then would trail out on the way down as well, and I probably would have stopped out there. So I would have taken profit coming down. My target would have been the next level down, and that's why I put the levels in. They're not just good for getting into trades, I use them for getting out of trades. Like today I was out at this level, and that level was perfect. This is a daily level I found, and that I used that as my out today, and so I basically got in there, out there, and these levels are in place before the market even opened. So, and obviously now I could have done the break and retested this area. It's only a zone as well, so it's not an exact area. So broke it, came back down, retested it, came back down, retested it again. So if you think the zone on this level is between there and there, it gives you quite a wide zone, and that's why I use the 2 minutes rather to fine tune it. So you come in, retest, out, in, retest, out, in, and you could retest that area. But these areas are based on the hourly. I don't really play 5 minute areas. The only other time I do that is when I'm over trading and I'm FOMO, which I'm trying to cut out. But here's a good level as well. In fact, I'll put it there. I'll change it to hourly because we are on this is a 5 minute. I'll put it at hourly, see where we are. And I'm only looking at this double top, but if you look, it came into play, rejected it, came back around. What was the ceiling is now the floor. Still the floor here. So still the floor here. Still the floor here. So, and it's been the floor for a while. And I look for areas of confluence as well. It's basically where tops of candles and then intersect with the bottoms of candles, like these bottoms here, these bottoms in, these bottoms in. Hence why I put this level in, because this is a relevant area. But I'm not sure what it looks like on the hourly. If I go to the 1 hour, yeah, that's a good area, because so we just drew that in, and then we've got, what was it? I can't remember the level we drew in now. It might have been that area there, that one there. So technically it's an okay area because we've got tops of candles on the hourly there, came through, came back through, bounced, tested it again, and then broke through, came back down, tested it there, came through, tested it, couldn't break it, then finally broke it, came back up, retested it again, pushed down to the next level, came back up, retested that level again, and look at that for that tail there, that came up and tested that level. Again, these levels are there long before these candles touch them. And then we came back down again, so we shot through this candle, shot through this level, and then we came down, look at that, tested that level, look at that, right on the dot. So if you add your long order there and maybe a start position there, you could have trailed this all the way up yesterday, and then we haven't really tested this area today. But remember this level 45.20, 45.18, because if we do pull back, that should be an area we'll be testing as well. Only because that shows, and you can tell it's a good area because look at the volume as well. We've got higher volume, and in fact the higher volume actually coincides with the tops of candles, the bottoms of candles, the tops of candles, bottoms of candles. So when you get indecision, like these top and tail candles or shooting star and hammer candles, top and tails and bottom tail candles, then that's when you get higher volume. And if you look at the volume as well, you'll see increased volume in these areas, and so you don't really need this indicator to show you where the point of control is. You can work it out roughly by looking at how it's all the confluence of all the candles. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's a bit of a long one, but hopefully you got something out of it, and hopefully you'll start looking at level 2, because level 2 works really well, and something I need to look at more. I kind of ignored it over the last few months, but I'm trying to get back into it as well. And no better way than using Bookmap, because Bookmap's great. If you've got a Thinkorswim account, then you can get it for free through Thinkorswim. Just go into the chat and support and ask them to enable your Bookmap, and they will enable you a free version of Bookmap. So yeah, I'll show you how to do that. And if not, then you can always, there is a YouTube channel. I'll put the link in this video actually for this. I'm just loading it now. And in YouTube, in fact, this is free on YouTube. You got ES, NQs and oil, CL, and you can watch this version. It's pretty up to date as well. I think was it 1:15:36, and the time now is 1:15. Look at that, it's literally 1 second out. That's not bad. It's pretty much real time. Why pay for it when you can get this for free? YouTube's brilliant. Look at that, 1 second out. So there you go. I'll put the link to this, copy it now, in the description below. And to finish off, look at that, we've got higher, had a bit more volume coming since we started going off on this area here. So almost 500 contracts, where we back up to where we were when we were watching it around here. So nothing's really happened, and I'm glad I didn't make you sit through this level 2. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a lovely day, and I will speak to some of you hopefully in our Discord channel. Thanks for watching.